Hi, I'm Simon Doy, founder of iThink 365. I wanted to talk through the Microsoft 365 Teams Delivery Accelerator. This video is to give you a sort of full guide of the service and talk you through how it works, what is the reason for the delivery service, and why you'd want to use it. Deploying Microsoft Teams isn't easy. There are lots of areas that you need to be careful of, and I'll talk about those in other videos, but predominantly they are around ensuring that you've got control of your environment, that your users can't go off and create thousands of Microsoft Teams sites, which we see, ensuring that your security is set up for how your organization likes to work. So some organizations are very open and they allow everybody to invite everybody else from outside of their organization into Microsoft Teams, and others are more controlled and need to restrict down so that it's only certain organizations which can be invited into Microsoft Teams and your Microsoft 365 environment. So we help by having a conversation with you to understand what your needs are. Getting your Teams information architecture right can be tricky, and so we have a approach which is tried and tested, and we deploy that, and we work with you to understand your organization structure, to deploy those teams and get those right for you. Microsoft Teams sprawl is another problem. So how do you control how teams are created? How do you stop duplicate teams being created? How do you put some process around that so there is a request process put in place? And so we solve that issue we've partnered with Orchestry, who have a Microsoft Teams and SharePoint provisioning engine. They call it a workspace provisioning engine. And that enables us to deliver a managed solution which will manage your team site from creation all the way through to when it's time to get rid of those teams and clear them up. So it does the whole team's lifecycle management. The other area as well that we find users struggle with is, it shouldn't be up to a user to think about which Microsoft 365 service they need, and so using our platform, that's kind of that decision process is taken away. You decide what a project site should look like, what a social media or a social site should look like, what a department site should look like, and then your users can request one of those and they get something, and that provides consistency across your platform. Also, finding the right team, finding the right workspace is difficult, and so we have a directory which allows you to get access and find those teams, those SharePoint sites when they need to. So what do you get with the service? Well, you get a solid Microsoft Teams information architecture. You get your Microsoft Teams environment set up securely with teams for your department sites, your project areas, your social spaces. You get a centralized directory management. You get Teams lifecycle management, so the start of your team to the end. And you get our expertise in helping you get more value from your Teams platform. And we will also impart our thoughts and thought leadership around Microsoft Teams and how you can leverage the platform to get more from it by integrating your other line of business systems, for example. So yeah, that's what you get from the service. So who is the service for? Well, it's for organizations that are looking to really create a solid Microsoft Teams foundation for their organization. It's for people who have got Microsoft 365, they're wondering what it is they can do with Microsoft Teams and how do they roll it out to their users. It's also for organizations which have already got Teams and they've got a bit of a mess on their hands and they need to straighten it up and resolve that mess. So we can do that too. Who is the service not for? Well, if you don't have Office 365 or Microsoft 365, then you need to get that in place first before you can start really deploying Microsoft Teams. So, how do we deliver the service to you? Like our other services, we have a number of phases. It starts off with a discovery phase, then we move to a develop phase, delivery phase, feedback phase, and then a support phase once you're all up and running. So let's start with the discovery phase. We have a project kickoff meeting, which is normally a 1 to 2 hour meeting to establish the ways of working, the roles and responsibility for the individuals and the people within both in our project team. We need to pick up we need to decide on a product owner, and that's the person who's our conduit between you and your organization and ourselves, and they're the person that we work with to find out any additional information or get access to the right people within your organization. So they need to be sort of well connected and be dedicated or have some of their time dedicated to the project. In the kickoff meeting, we also, we make sure that we understand the key goals and objectives, what success would look like to you, so that we can think about that as we are delivering the service. We also then want to find out about how your organization is structured so that we can build you up a Teams information architecture which covers your departments, your divisions, understands any social areas we need to create, and also any other project type or product type templates which we would need to create as well. Once we've got that, once we've had those meetings, then we build up an information architecture diagram, and then we share that with you, and then we move into the next phase, which is the development phase. The development phase is where we set up your Teams environment and get you up and running, so that you have your department sites. We set up the Teams policies and we configure Teams for you in the way that your organization works. Once we've got the development phase in, then we move to the delivery phase. And this is when we provide a training, administrative training for the Orchestra platform, for Microsoft Teams, and then end user training. And our end user training, really the way we deliver that depends on how big your organization is. And we have two approaches. We either train your end users directly if you're a smaller organization, but if you're a bigger organization, then we would take the train the trainer approach, where we train a set of power users within the departments or and areas within your business, who would then pass on that training to their colleagues. And we find that works really well and scales well. And also it provides a support, or local support, which can help reduce the impact and the impact on your IT support teams, and it gives your employees a way of quickly resolving common issues. Once we've performed the training and you guys have got Teams, you're up and running, and away you go. We then have a feedback cycle where we talk about what went well, what didn't go well, are there any outstanding issues which we need to resolve, and just getting your feedback about how we've worked with you and what your thoughts are of iThink on this project. With the feedback, the delivery, the discovery, and the development phase is all done, then we go into a support phase, and then this is using our help desk, and we package this up. This is not part of the service, and we would the support phase, we would work with you to understand your budgets and put in a support package for you to look after you or help you get the most value out of your team's environment. So some common questions we get asked are, how long does it take? What is an idea of cost? And in terms of how long does it take, it does depend on your size of organization, but it's generally between 5 to 10 days, depending on how big you are. In terms of cost, if you look at our website, then we give you all the costs. And again, that depends on the size of your organization too.